Okay, let's just jump right in. What if our entire economy wasn't designed for profit, but for people? For you, for me, for everyone. Today, we're going to dive into a really fascinating blueprint for a totally different kind of world. It's one that's going to ask us to rethink, well, pretty much everything, from our jobs all the way to our supply chains, and it's called PROUT.
So, let's kick things off with a massive question, one that really gets you thinking. What if the main goal, the whole point of our economy, wasn't just about piling up wealth for a handful of people, but instead about making sure every single person is okay, about unlocking the incredible, limitless potential that we all have inside of us? I mean, it sounds pretty radical, right? But honestly, that's the core idea, the very foundation of what we're going to get into today.
And the answer to that big question, well, it comes in the form of a framework called PROUT. That stands for Progressive Utilization Theory. Now, at its heart, it's a really powerful and, radical idea. It basically asks, what if we took all of our planet's resources, not just the physical stuff, but our mental and spiritual capacities too, and use them in the smartest, most efficient way possible, all for the well-being of every single living being, not just humans, but all beings.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, that sounds great, but how on earth does it actually work? Well, it all starts with a massive shift in economic power. You can almost picture it like flipping a pyramid upside down. PROUT's whole deal is to take power away from the very top and put it directly into the hands of the people who are actually doing the work and buying the stuff, the producers and the consumers, the people on the ground.
And this right here really lays it all out. Just look at the direct comparison. In the model we're all used to, the name of the game is profit, plain and simple. You've got middlemen, speculators, and hoarders who can jack up prices and create shortages out of thin air, all to make a bigger buck. I mean, we've all been there, right? Staring at empty shelves or seeing prices just go through the roof? Well, PROUT just flips that script completely. The goal isn't profit, it's meeting people's needs. It creates a straight line from the person who makes the thing to the person who needs it, totally cutting out those middlemen. And this is huge. Workers aren't just cogs in a machine, they're member owners of the whole operation.
So the entire system is built on these two main pillars. It's actually pretty straightforward. On one side, you've got producers' cooperatives. So think about the farmers, the factory workers, the people weaving cloth. They actually own and manage their own production. Then on the other side, you've got consumers' cooperatives. This is where the community, the people living there, own the stores and the whole distribution network. And any profit, any surplus, it gets shared fairly among the members. And listen, this isn't just some fantasy. You can look at real-world examples, like the huge Mondragon Cooperative in Spain. It's proof that this kind of shared ownership model can absolutely work and even thrive on a massive scale.
But this whole cooperative setup, it does way more than just shift who's in charge. It goes straight for the jugular of one of the biggest, most frustrating problems in our current economy, this whole issue of artificial scarcity.
And you know exactly what I'm talking about. We've all seen it happen. Some company decides to hoard something essential, food, medicine, you name it, and suddenly there's a panic. Prices shoot up, and they make a killing off of our desperation. It's a system that basically rewards gambling and speculation instead of stability. And PROUT's take on this is pretty blunt. When it comes to the things we absolutely need to survive, a system like that isn't just inefficient, it's just plain wrong.
And this is where PROUT gets really practical and, honestly, pretty smart about it. See, it doesn't try to have the cooperative system control everything. That would be crazy. Instead, it sorts goods into three simple categories. You've got your essentials, the stuff we literally can't live without, like food, clothing, and medicine. Then you have demi-essentials, things that really improve our lives. All of that is handled by the co-ops to make sure there's always enough and the prices are fair. But what about luxuries? High-end gadgets, designer clothes. PROUT says, hey, let the private sector handle that. The focus is laser sharp. Make sure that nobody ever has to lie awake at night worrying about the basics.
Okay, let's walk through a real-world example to see how this works. Picture a simple t-shirt. Step 1, a co-op of farmers grows the cotton. Step 2, they sell that cotton directly to a producer's co-op of weavers. Step 3, that cloth goes to another co-op that actually makes the shirt. And finally, your local community-owned consumers co-op sells that t-shirt to you for a reasonable price. Now, take a second. Who's not in that story? Yep, the speculators, the giant trading companies, all those middlemen. Every layer that just adds cost without adding any real value is just gone.
All right, so the supply chain gets a major upgrade. That's a huge piece of the puzzle. But that brings up another massive question, especially today. What happens to our jobs in a world of increasing automation? What does work and life itself even look like in this new system?
I mean, let's be real. This is one of the biggest fears we're all grappling with right now. Every day there's a new headline about AI and automation. And there's this genuine fear that millions of us are just going to be replaced. So the question is, does progress automatically have to mean people get left behind?
And this is where PROUT's answer is just a total game changer. It offers a completely different way of looking at it. Instead of technology causing unemployment, what if it just led to more free time for everybody? Think about it. As new tech makes us more productive, we don't fire people, we just reduce working hours for everyone. The incredible gains from technology get shared by the whole community. They don't just line the pockets of a few owners. This keeps everyone employed and seriously boosts quality of life. It's kind of like the whole 4-day workweek idea, but taken to its logical conclusion as a core principle for the whole economy.
Okay, so what about your paycheck? How does that change? Well, get ready, because this is another revolutionary idea. In this system, your pay isn't just cash. A good chunk of it actually comes as guaranteed access to essential goods and services. Just stop and imagine that for a second. Imagine never having to stress about your grocery bills suddenly spiking or your rent going up unexpectedly. It provides this incredible bedrock of economic security, a kind of stability that a simple paycheck just can't give you, because it protects you from things like inflation and wild market swings.
And you know, this whole system isn't meant to be frozen in time. It's designed to grow with us. PROUT's philosophy is that as we all move forward, our idea of what a basic need is should expand too. I mean, think about it. 100 years ago, electricity was a luxury. Today, you could argue internet access is an essential service. The whole point is to take care of our limited physical needs, to get food, shelter, all that stuff sorted, so that we're free to pursue our infinite human potential, our desire for knowledge, for creativity, for connection.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground. Cooperatives, jobs, paychecks, but now we've got to talk about the biggest idea of all, the one that everything else is built on. What do we do about the ultimate resources? The land, the water, the air, the planet itself.
So, PROUT makes a pretty bold argument here. It says that our current system of private land ownership is frankly outdated and super inefficient, especially when you're talking about something as vital as farming. Think of all these small private plots of land. It's just not practical for large-scale modern farming. You waste so much good fertile land on just drawing boundary lines. And here's the kicker. If someone owns a huge piece of land and decides, I'm not going to grow anything, that land becomes a wasted resource, a liability for the rest of society. The system ends up putting one person's feelings or whims ahead of everyone else's need for food.
And that line of thinking leads us to what is maybe the most powerful, central quote in this entire philosophy. It says, "In my opinion, all the land in the entire universe is the common property of every human being." Just let that sink in for a moment. It's this idea that the earth isn't some commodity to be bought and sold by a few, but that it's the shared inheritance of every single one of us.
Now, it is absolutely crucial to get this next part right. This is not about giant state-controlled government farms. It's actually the complete opposite. What PROUT suggests is that the land is held in common, together, but it's the local cooperatives, the actual farmers who live and work in that community, who are given the rights to care for it, to preserve it, and to use it for the good of everyone. It's a model of local, decentralized control. It's all about making sure these precious resources are used smartly, sustainably, and for the benefit of all.
So we kind of end up right back where we started, but hopefully with a whole new way of looking at things. Look, PROUT is a big, dense, and a pretty radical vision. But what it really does is challenge us to imagine a completely different future. A future where we're not constantly fighting against artificial scarcity or crippled by economic anxiety. So I just want to leave you with this final thought to chew on. What could we truly, honestly achieve if all of our basic needs were just taken care of? If our collective energy was freed up from just surviving and instead focused on unlocking our truly infinite potential?